You suck, Sony.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So for some reason it's 2024 and the Sony X3000 is still the best vlogging camera ever made, and Sony will never beat it because they want to protect it. They have about 1,000 of them in a pyramid somewhere in the Thailand mountains, and so they're hoarding them, and we're waiting for the X4000. It's never going to come, but whatever. You might want an alternative since they're impossible to find, and since the ZVE10 Mark II is out now, you might be wondering, is that the best option now for vlogging? APS-C, bigger sensor than this, it's clearly better, right? It has Stabe in it, right? Boss Stabe. I made a list of the best options. APS-C loser cams for scrubs. Is that a dead rat or a banana peel? The close focusing abilities of the X3000. The shadow. So we got 5 cameras to get to today. Sony, Nikon, Fuji, and Canon all have contenders here in the APS-C market. Panasonic, you don't really have something in this price range. Your G9 II is way more expensive and heavier. That's scary. And they're full frame, like you're joking, S9, 15 minutes to your mom's bedroom. Last time I timed it. So first, the obvious debate, Sony ZVE10 Mark II or the A6700. It's actually quite a bit more money for the A6700. Everyone's just like, oh, a couple hundred more, 400 more. That US, translate that into Canadian dollars, is like 600 more. It's painful. It's painful, and it's much lighter, that ZVE10 Mark II. It's just strange. I was watching Mark Bennett's review. Fantastic reviews, that guy. See, here at the Camera Conspiracies Network, I review the reviews because camera companies, they don't find me politically appropriate for their brand. So I have to trust other YouTubers, and he was like measuring everything I wanted to know. It's like, oh, the crop's actually 33%. I'm like, oh, look at all that. And so good on you, young fella. So judging his advice, 33% crop in the Stabe, ouch. This A6700 is 12%. You can get much wider. You could even vlog with the 15mm 1.4. I'm just throwing it. Just throwing it. Oh my God, there's a bird in a bath. The X3000 is the poor choice for this situation. I will leave you, buddy. You bathe ahead. Don't worry, we're cropping digitally. It's just as good quality as if I had a telephoto lens. And sorry for the abysmal audio today. That's what you get from the Sony X3000. It has a mic jack, and I'm doing that, but it's a little hot. There are some lav mics that can handle this. The sensitivity is so low that it's actually doable. I just forget which ones, and none of them were good. Shade exists. So the main thing about the A6700 is that it can double as other things. It could be a wildlife cam because it has a viewfinder, 4K 120p, like extra crops. You could get by with some serious, like 200mm lens, 200mm prime. There's not even, that doesn't exist. A 300mm 2.8 on the A67, forget about it. It's ridiculous, but you could. So if you get the 11mm 1.8, we're talking ZVE10 Mark II is 1546 and 558 grams versus 1946 and 674 grams. Personally, I'd go A6700 all the way because the ZVE10 Mark II is a dead-end trap to nowhere. It'd be fun, it's lighter. If you're only vlogging, you could make a case for it, but you lose 240 frames per second. What are you even doing? My opening scene was 240 frames per second. Back in 2016, was it? This was invented? Did it look like hot trash served to a homeless raccoon? Yeah, it did. But it was in there. So the real question is ZVE10 Mark II versus the competition. So far you lost your first fight. That's painful, but there's more rounds to come. You might win something here. Fuji XS20. Now we're talking, I had to reach into my back pocket for a lens that you could actually buy on Fuji. 16mm 2.8 is the budget lens that you would get, light enough. So we're talking 150 more for the Fuji combo and a little bit more weight, 90-ish grams. Okay, but like, what do you gain? So much, and you lose so much as well. Way worse autofocus. Stabe, abysmal. Even though there's no IBIS in the ZVE10, you put that digital crop on, it'll look fantastic. It's just, can you handle it? You got to prepare ahead with a super wide lens, and then you're stuck with that wide ass lens. Good luck getting, I'm going to use the 24G Master. Why would you ever do that? But with the Fuji, you gain. Fuji color science could be better in some cultures. 240 frames per second, huge crop. Painfully 30% almost, 29%. You still have your 4K 60, it's a bit more of a crop, 8% more from what I remember. And there's no other sentence that could save this moment. I didn't write anything down, someone help me. But again, if you want to do wildlife, now like Fuji might be your optimal choice. 70 to 300, super lightweight, and then you have your one lens. I wouldn't get that 16mm 2.8. If my life depended on it, I would get the 16 1.4. Then you're talking more price and heavier, but it's, if I had to do it, I think I would go Fuji. Like, I'm literally looking for one now. I would buy it. I'm not looking for a ZVE10 Mark II, I'll tell you that much. Even though I have all these Sony lenses, I could actually use the damn thing. It's just not very good, is it? When it comes to Nikon, it's a bit of a joke, that Z30, but it's not bad. The color science was decent, the stabe was abysmal. The only lens would be the 12 to 28. You're actually cheaper still with that lens, even though the lens is kind of pricey. You're only $903 and 555 grams, same exact weight as the ZVE10 with the 11mm prime. So it's like you're getting 12mm 2.8 on an APS-C versus 11mm 1.8, somewhat respectable, but then you have to crop in like crazy. So you lose out on a lot of stuff. There's really not a lot of redeeming qualities about that Z30 for Nikon. It's just the price. That's about it. If you couldn't afford the ZVE10 Mark II, then maybe you would consider that. But I would say this is your first victory. I would rather have the ZVE10 II for sure. Barely, but yeah, well done. When it comes to Canon, your only camera really in that price range, it's actually a bit cheaper, $100. Canon R10. Wow. I don't know, man, like you're cheaper, you get that 10 to 18, your Tonys are 4.5 to 6.3. Wow. Versus 11mm prime. Ouch. Like those are your best options. Oh boy. But you get Canon color science. I think you're getting 4K 60. No crop? Don't quote me on that. HD 120. You're both so boring. But with that Canon combo, you're saving some money, 300-ish. But you gain some weight as well. You also gain a zoom range, but it's the darkest Tonys you ever seen. I don't know that that would be worth it. Okay, side experiment within an experiment. I'm gonna put my glimmer glass filter on now and ruin your life, or you'll be happier. You seeing the flares? You seeing that? I have to crop in quite a bit because this stupid vignetting filter thing I bought on AliExpress, I realize it's ruining my life and it's not good at all. But the real answer is just get a Sony X3000. I can't believe nobody has updated it, especially with the long camcorder style body where my hand is angled out of the way. It's so comfortable pinching. I'll be honest with you. I was thinking of making this video, was gonna do it on the DJI Pocket 3, And I just felt I wasn't excited about doing that. And then when I had the thought to use my X3000, I was like, oh, it's like so tiny. It makes you more confident because people don't really know what the hell you're doing. Although this lav mic makes it more obvious, but people aren't looking at you. Whereas you bring the ZVE10 II out here with your tripod, people are like, can I be in your movie? It's not a movie. I think the Pocket 3 actually destroys the ZVE10 II in a lot of ways, but not really in every way. If you actually had to like do a YouTube studio video, it's not even close. Like Sony, even out here, it would look better, technically, I bet you. Side by side, 11 mil on your tripod, it would destroy the Pocket 3. What am I even talking about? But I get 4K 120, HD 240, and it's super smooth, no crop. There's some advantages, it's much smaller, cheaper. There's a lot of good things to love, and a lot to hate. I wouldn't expect low light performance to be much to write home about, much like you're witnessing now. Smaller sensor, 1 inch, it would outperform this, especially because I cropped on the sensor and I'm using a filter that smears the details. But I'm about to reach the light soon, aren't I? Oh, I didn't time that. Now when it comes to the pros and cons of each and which I would choose, the smart choice obviously is either of the Sonys. You get the best autofocus, the stab's good enough with the digital, you get even a little roadmap leading you into full frame one day. You can use your Zeiss glass, and you're like, oh my God, I'm a professional. Sony's the obvious choice. When it comes to Fuji, like a moth to a flame, the hipster doofus is led into better color science. He's like, oh my God, this is so vintage. Look at this. Oh no, my cat's out of focus. Oh, what happened? Oh, he won't fit into his leather pants. How am I gonna do this photo shoot? You're a moron. The guy who sells his Sony gear moves into Fuji. He's like, the promise was a lie. And you know that. But like, whatever, learn how to up reds in the shadows and you might get a Fuji one day. Canon, you have your potential. I'm curious. I'd like to try it. The R10 with that wide lens. You have lens stabe plus a little 10% digital crop. It's probably still not even as smooth as the Sony's digital only, but there's hope. And you have Canon color science, but the dynamic range on that thing is not going to be good. A lot of clipped highlights in your future. And the codecs, are those the same 10-bit? You're struggling to even edit 1080p footage. That would hurt, but you could get by. And Nikon, I forgot you were even in this contest. Go home, you're drunk. Go release something one day. Where's your D500 equivalent? Video-centric, of course. Nobody has anything for video. The real answer is the Sony X3000. It's the only viable option in today's world. That's the truth. It's the sad truth. They're available through my affiliate links, of course. They're pricey. Not worth the price either, but you'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy donating Bitcoin too. You're not. Still, subscribe for more videos in it.